even after consuming food. And that is possible only if we offer the food to the Lord and have it as prasadam. And also having sattvic food, people always ask us as to how the food is so good without the use of onion and garlic. And we always tell them that the food is more tasty without onion and garlic. The food is tasty, it's because it doesn't have onion and garlic. Onion and garlic basically, subdues or rather increases our mode of passion and ignorance. That's the spiritual explanation. But besides that, onion and garlic is a very overpowering taste, right? And that taste subdues the flavors of other wonderful vegetables. So that's why it's important for all of us who are interested in spiritual advancement, which is the goal of human life, to consume sattvic food. So, Anthony said many other things nice about me, but I consider myself as just a practitioner of Krishna consciousness. We are all bothered by so many trials and tribulations in this everyday world. And unless we take to Krishna consciousness, the trials and tribulations will continue. We all get bliss from practice of Krishna consciousness, and it's our appeal to you to associate with the center of Iskcon in Kannamangala and enrich your lives spiritually. So we'll sing Jaya for some time, and I will be starting to speak about the glories of Krishna subduing Kaliya the serpent. There is a serpent, many serpents in fact, in our hearts, and let's hear how the serpents were removed from the body of Kaliya, and Kaliya becomes a devotee of the Lord. And the process which Kaliya had was very, very complicated and painful, but all of us, it's very easy to remove the serpents from our system, or the anarthas can be easily removed from the system by doing one simple thing, and that is the all familiar Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So let's all chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Rama, Jaya spent almost his life sleeping very less and translating the Holy Scriptures for the benefit of all of us. And at least personally me, if today we are having some kind of Krishna consciousness and pursuing on this path, it's only because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara that we brought the strength from. And we are able to discuss this wonderful pastimes of Krishna only with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this wonderful Guru Parampara that we brought to. Individually, all of us have very less powers, but we become very powerful by the strength of the Parampara. If we are able to speak anything on the scriptures, it's the power of the Parampara. Like the seat which I am sitting is called as the Vyasasana, which means it's the seat of Srila Vyasadeva, right? And we are infused by the power given by the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Vyasadeva. And that is how we are able to talk even little about the scriptures as we understand from our So, the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam discusses various pastimes or leelas of the Supreme Personality of God. And among all these pastimes, it is the Bala Leela pastimes or the childhood pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, which is most welcoming to the mind and the soul. Basically, we have to understand that Krishna, his form, his name, and the paraphernalia that he has, and all his expansions are non-different from the Supreme Personality of God. When we sing Krishna's holy name, it is non-different from the Supreme Personality of God. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. So the names of the Lord are non-different from the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna Katha is always very pleasing to the ear and to the minds of all of us. It is in one sense that it is the mercy of Maharaj Parikshit who first heard the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, who is the son of Srila Vyasadeva, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he made a special request to Sukadeva Goswami to discuss in detail the childhood pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. Bala Leela, as we all know, is very automatically pleasing to the ear and the minds of all. And what's the reason for it? One thing which keeps us entangled in this material world is the aspect of envy and pride. We are all puffed up with very small achievements that we have in our material life, and we are envious of others who are more successful as we think they are. So, when you talk about a small child, somehow or the other, child is considered very innocent, and therefore the aspect of envy does not come in between us, right? So we are naturally attracted. We are naturally attracted to the Bala Leela pastimes and we are able to hear the pastimes without any envy. Because now any child who is doing small thing, right? So devoid of envy, we are able to listen to the Bhagavad pastimes. Whereas in the other leelas of the different avatars of the Lord, Matsya, Kurma, Varana, whatever, or even Narasimha, the Supreme Lord has to make some effort in performing those leelas, right? And he has to change his form. He has to take the form of a half lion, half man. There is some effort involved. Of course, it's all effortless for the Supreme Personality of God, but still, there is some meditation involved and some effort involved. But Krishna as a small child performed so many pastimes without any effort whatsoever. Effortlessly performed the pastimes. We discussed in another Iskcon center about how Krishna killed Katha and Kirtan. And at that time, Krishna was not even a month old, or just about a month old, and he just kicked the cart in, and the cart came crumbling down in 1 second. There was no effort involved on the part of Krishna. In fact, the children who saw this happening, they told everybody else that this has happened, and Krishna did this. They all said, no, it's not possible. It is the act of some demon or some wicked planet that it has come like this, and the cart has been broken. Krishna cannot do this. He is so young and he is so much dependent on all of us that Krishna couldn't have done it. So the Bhagavad pastimes of the Lord are such that Krishna performs it effortlessly, and we all get naturally attracted to the Bhagavad pastimes of the Lord. And what is the result of listening to the Bhagavad pastimes of the Lord? All the anarthas that we have in our mind completely vanishes in no time if we listen to the Bhagavad pastimes with care and attention and faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. We have a lot of material desires in all of us, which is the root cause of material existence. Yeah, we all know that. We have different types of miseries. Adhyatmic miseries, adi bhautik miseries, and adi daivic miseries. The adhyatmic miseries, what are there? Problems that are created by our body and mind. Yeah. So when I was 25 years younger, I could sit like this for about 1 hour. But now when the class is over and there is the question and answer session, I slowly move the table in front and put my legs down. So various problems created by the body and mind, they are the adhyatmic miseries. And then we have the adi bhautik miseries. We decide that we will chant with all great attention and sit in front of the deities and chant. But there is small muscular interest, right? We can't avoid it. Or the dog in the neighboring house starts barking loudly. So these are problems created by other living entities. And then besides these two, a very difficult to control as long as we have a material body, then there are adi-devic miseries also, which are the natural calamities that occur. We have no control over floods, we have no control over excessive rain, nothing at all. So these are the 3 problems in material life. Besides the Bhagavad Gita explains there are 4 more problems. What are they? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosham, Darshanam. So, Janma is birth, which is not very nice process. We have forgotten how much pain we have given to our mothers and how much painful it was to get captured in a small embryo. Yeah? Very, very painful, and we have tolerated this for 9 long months and then come to this material world. And then Mrityu. We may say that Mrityu is not very difficult. will come for the Krishna Katha class, right? So they will all run away and keep a safe distance, all the security, all whoever to try and sort out this problem. So Mrityu is also very painful. Then old age and disease, Jara and Vyadi. Even if we don't want it, we have old age coming and we have Vyadi coming, which is diseases that hit the body. So varieties of tribulations are there in this material world. There is no break and there is no solution. But there is one solution which is permanent. That is listening to the Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj Parikshit always was amazed looking at the hearing about Yashoda and the other Vrajavasis and the wonderful activities that they perform to serve the Lord and the wonderful leelas that the Lord performs in Vrindavan. So Maharaj Parikshit tells Sukadeva Goswami that his view is that the childhood pastimes of the Bala Leela of the Lord is greater than all the other incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it captures your attention immediately. And that is the first instruction. And is able to easily graduate us to the first instruction of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which says, Shrimadam Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravan Kirtanam, Vidyam Tasvorya Padrani, Vidunoti Sukhutasatam. The moment we do Shrimadam, that is hearing Swakata Krishna, or the Katha of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Punya Shravan Kirtanam, Punya, which means all virtues automatically develop in our heart and system. And Vridyanta Sroti Abhadrani. We discussed how our heart is full of abhadras, of inauspiciousness. So all those abhadrani, Vidunoti Sukhutasatam, the Lord is so kind. Vidunoti means clean. So the Lord as the supreme benefactor takes care and personally comes inside our heart and cleanses all the inauspiciousness in our heart. This is the result of listening and studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So what are these abhadranis? Abhadranis is we all have desire to enjoy matter, right? So that is zillions of material desires and we want to enjoy matter. So Satam refers to the truthful devotees. So Satam can mean devotees or sadhus, right? So sadhus are always very truthful by nature. So the Bala Leela pastimes of the Lord are very easy to hear and it creates an inclusiveness very naturally and removes all the envy from our heart. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have been having this series in all the sectors of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and we have heard so many pastimes. The first one of all was the Putana pastimes, the Trinavrata pastimes, the Satakasura pastimes, that Krishna manifests his universal form in his mouth and shows his universal form, which is dear Mother Yashoda. And then we have the Kannamangala pastimes, then we have the Agasura demon pastime, and then Krishna steals all the boys and the cows of Vrindavan. Those pastimes were finished, and the Devatasana pastime, and then finally we have come to the pastime of Kaliya. So the Kaliya pastime is a very, very important pastime. And every time we listen to the pastimes of Krishna, we should think about what we have to learn from these pastimes. That's a very, very important thing. So let's understand the background of the Kaliya pastimes. Kaliya, the snake, and Garuda, the vehicle of Vishnu, were eternal enemies. Right? So the background of this enmity is one thing is Garuda was roaming about everywhere, and wherever he sees a fish in water, it goes, comes knocks them out and eats fish. Yeah. The vehicle of Vishnu was a non-vehicle. Yeah. So he plucks out the fish. So there was one Saudi Rishi who was very disturbed in his meditation. He had a Adi Bhautik misery there. So he called and told Garuda that don't come here to pluck your fish. So this happened in Vrindavan. So where he was meditating, if I'm not mistaken, he meditated 1,000 years or 10,000 years under the water, right? So that was the greatness of his meditation. So he chastises Garuda. But in spite of that, Garuda was so hungry, he could not avoid plucking a fish and eating. So then Saudi Rishi, he cursed Garuda that you will never be able to enter Vrindavan and disturb my peace. So Garuda could have easily broken that, but Garuda is a devotee of the Lord, and therefore he is committed to serve the Lord and follow his instructions and the instructions of other devotees as well. So he stopped coming to Vrindavan. And then the other side, so Garuda cannot come to Vrindavan. And then the other side, Kalya was the greatest of all serpents. He was living in an island called Ramananda Island. And in the Ramananda Island, Garuda's favorite food is snakes and fish. So he started attacking all the residents of Ramananda Island and the friends and relatives and wives of Kalya. So he started disturbing them as well, Garuda. So then there was like we see in our politics today, some appeasement goes on in the time, right? So the same thing, the friends of Kalya, the relatives of Kalya, said, don't come and disturb us. Every month, under a banyan tree, we will come and offer something to you, so that you are satisfied and you will not disturb us. So every month, diligently, they used to go under the banyan tree and eat some prasad for them. Yeah. And for Garuda used to consume that and he was happy. But as is the nature of a snake, Kalya decided to challenge this appeasement policy. Yeah. So he said, I will not allow this to happen. Whatever offerings you are giving to the Garuda, the great bird, I am going to go and eat that offering. So Garuda naturally was upset, and Kalya was angry as well. He went to bite Garuda. So the bite of Kalya is no comparison to the strength of the wings of Garuda. Yeah? So with the wings of Garuda, he just slapped Kalya and in fear he ran away from there. So from that time the enmity was going on. So Kalya was a very, very puffed up person, and he could not tolerate what was happening. So that enmity was there, and when he had to leave Ramananda Island after getting slapped by Garuda, what did he do? He thought that I should go to a safe place, and he heard about the curse of Saudi Rishi. So he heard the curse and said, this is my place to go where Garuda can never disturb me. Otherwise, but then by the divine arrangement of the Lord, he occupied part of he was apart from the flowing stream of the Yamuna, and he occupied part of the Yamuna river, which was like a lake. Otherwise, the entire Yamuna river would have been poisoned by the ferocious poison coming out of the hands of the Kalya demon. So this lake was 8 miles across in the spread, and even the devatas could not cross that dangerous lake. And even the approach to the lake was extremely difficult, because the approach to the lake, by the shores of the lake, was snake holes from where any time a snake would come and bite you. So it was very difficult to approach the lake, let alone cross the lake with all these venomous serpents inside that lake. So it was basically an unfathomable river where Kaliya lived for so many ages. And the Lord wanted to purify the water of the lake and banish Kaliya from the place. Yeah? So it was not just ordinary poison that was coming out. It was like fiery poison. Constantly it was heating and boiling the waters of the lake. It used to be red hot. And the birds falling over the lake, or an insect going past the lake would just drop down dead immediately. And the whole atmosphere had become very, very foggy. The fog would burn out every blade of grass which was there in the shores of the lake. And the entire 8 miles around the lake was a very, very unpleasant atmosphere, thanks to Kaliya the serpent and his other associates. There was also a mystical science. Kaliya was a mystic yogi, still he was finished by Krishna, right? So the process of yoga also doesn't lead to perfection. Yeah? So he was mystic yogi. By using some mystical science, Kaliya, what did he do? He would even make the water, which is liquid, it's very difficult to change the nature of water. He would somehow use his mystical powers to get out some, solid waste from the lake. It was like solid waste being generated out of water. So he had that mystical science, and none of them was pleasant at all. Kaliya built his own city in the lake. What is Krishna's job in this case? Paritranaya sadhuna, vinashaya chaturshvata, dharma samskarapranaya, sambhavaki. That is why he has come down to the earth, right? So he has to do Paritranaya sadhuna, he has to protect the devotee, the topmost of them in Vrindavan, and he also has to vinashaya chaturshvata. All the miscreants have to be destroyed. That's the purpose. So Krishna has explained in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 8, which you all know. So the Lord climbed onto the Kadamba tree. The descendant of the Kadamba tree is still there on the Parikrama mark in Vrindavan. So he climbed onto the tree, and the 6 or 7-year-old boy decided to jump into the lake and take him on for a battle. So, like it happens in any, wrestling match, what did Krishna do? Krishna claps his hands like this and like this, and then he thumbs his eyes on both the sides, and he says, and then they have a very long hair. That's in vogue style these days. But the men also had long hair. That's a style. Probably they put various colors, which is not so pleasant. But all the boys had long hair at that time. He's the original style icon. Don't think that these styles have come in the last few years. This style existed from Krishna's days. So what he did, he took his hair and tied it around and made a bundle out of it behind, and then he was ready for the battle. And then the servants were absolutely agitated looking at Krishna doing this, and they were already breathing very heavily. Yeah? Breathing heavily and fast reduces the lifetime. Yeah? The Yoga Shastra says that you have a particular number of breaths. Once that is finished, your life is finished. So there itself the lifespan is reducing for all the the residents of the lake, Kaliya and his friends. Fearsome and then Krishna just dived into the water. Unfortunately, only the descendant of the Kannamangala tree is there, but none of the other water has receded and the Yamuna flows a little further away today. But the Kannamangala tree is still there. So we should think and meditate on this pastime, how Krishna would have jumped into the water and taking on, as a 6 or 7-year-old boy, he was taking on a fearsome Kaliya, the strongest of all serpents, for a battle. Yeah? The moment he jumped into the water, fearsome waves surrounded the lands up to 100 bow lengths. The waves were extending into the shores. The Lord had infinite energy, we all know, right? And Krishna started sporting in the lake fearlessly, right? And you can imagine how this trespass of the territory would have made Kaliya so angry and agitated. And Lord Krishna was ever so beautiful. He was wearing his silken yellow garments. He had a mark of Srivatsa on his chest, which is all typical of him. His face is ever smiling, and his feet had a bowl of lotus flower. He was looking as beautiful as that. Whenever things go bad, the devotees think of the non-devotees think of the bad things that happen, but the devotees decide to meditate on the positive things, and they imagine how Krishna would have looked so beautiful. He was in his full garments and looking absolutely beautiful, and he was playing fearlessly in the water. Kaliya, as usual, became very envious, rushed towards Krishna, and started to try and bite Krishna on the chest. And since so he tried to bite Krishna on the chest, and Krishna was not able to get into the grasp of Kaliya. He was not able to bite him, but somehow or the other, Krishna wanted to have some more fun. He allowed Kaliya to encircle him and get him within his coils of the lengthy coils of Kaliya. So the cowherd community, the friends of Krishna who had gone with him, some of them had gone with him and some of them were staying at home. Maybe they were very mischievous, and therefore their mothers had given them what you call it today's life. I don't for you today, I'm going out with Krishna. So some of them stayed, but the people who were staying with Krishna saw this wonderful pastime, and they were completely motionless, and they were actually unconscious on the banks of the lake. And Krishna is obviously joined with the cowherd boys, and he's also joined with the cows, bulls, and the female calves who always go with him wherever he goes. They were completely shocked to see this, and they were in tears, completely crying out for Krishna. Yeah? And then how will the information get passed on to Kannamangala and Yashoda that their son is in trouble? So the material nature, arranged bad omens so that they could understand something is happening to Krishna here. And then the material nature arranged tremors in the earth, which is a bad omen. That was the earth, and the sky the meteors started falling from the sky. So that was the second bad omen. Yeah? One meteor falling on the earth, it makes it news in the headlines. Yeah? Everything starts from Krishna. And then there were also twitching of the left eye of everyone, which is left and right eye, quivering of the left eye. So, and various other bodily symptoms which were considered as a bad omen. So different bad omens from the earth, the sky, and the body were indicating that there is something inauspicious which is going on. Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd boys came running and they were going helter-skelter. And how do they find out where Krishna is? Because Krishna is the master of his own desires and he will go wherever. What is that? He's got this, Icha Shakti. Icha Shakti means Swa Icha Shakti. As per his desires, he will go anywhere he likes. Nobody can control when. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as per his Swa Icha, he will go anywhere. So how do they find out that he had gone to the banks of the river Yamuna? So they were wondering what to do. Then the children, the women, and the elderly thought of Krishna as a very helpless calf in trouble. So that's another beautiful thing about the Brajavasis, which makes them the topmost devotees in the entire universe. Right? So even Yashoda Muni and the other Brajavasis are considered to be higher devotees than Devaki. Yeah? How is that? So, Devaki and Vasudeva, Krishna was born. Krishna, how did he present himself? He presented himself with the four-handed form in all glory. Right? So they were aware that Krishna, their son, was actually not different from Narayana or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what kind of bhakti is that? No doubt they are very, very elevated souls who meditated for tens of thousands of years to have Krishna as the son. But their bhakti was Jnana Vishwa. It was bhakti which was mixed with the knowledge that Krishna, their son, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that puts a barrier or curtain to perform their devotional service. Right? That every time you go near yourself, my son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a lot of adoration that automatically comes. Whereas for the Brajavasis, he was just a simple boy. My friend Krishna is a mischievous guy. I can climb on his back and beat him with a stick. The aspect of it is called Kevala Bhakti. It is just unconditional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a mood of bhakti. So it was Kevala Bhakti with no other mixtures of jnana, yoga, or nothing else. So that is the nature of the bhakti of the Brajavasis. So they always thought that this poor little calf-like child is in trouble and we should help him. So this was going on, and then suddenly, how did the residents rush to the right place? They started following the footmarks of Krishna. Along with the footmarks of Krishna, there were footprints of the cows who went with Krishna. So they found their way to reaching Krishna. So the normal materialists ask as to how come the footmarks are, as it is, dust will come, somebody else will walk over it, somebody will stamp it. None of those things happen because Krishna is considered as Vishpati, meaning he is the master of the cowherd community. And as the master of the community, everybody used to always think of Krishna as the most valuable treasure. So they would treasure the footprints of Krishna and make sure nobody stands on them. So he was that of the greatest wealth they had. So the footprints of Krishna was the most treasurable and preservable thing that they had in the entire universe. Look at the emotions of the people of Vrindavan. One of even developed that kind of emotion. So when they went and reached, with the help of the footprints of Krishna, they saw that Krishna was completely completely motionless, caught in the coils of Kaliya, and they were completely destroyed. The cowherd boys lay there unconscious. The cows and calves were crying out loudly for Krishna. The residents were completely shocked and in grief seeing what is happening there. And then they were wondering, did Kaliya drag him into the pond, or did Krishna jump into the Yamuna river? So they were confused and wondering what to do. The young gopis remembered the friendship that they enjoyed with Krishna, because they thought, now Krishna is going to go away from us. The young gopis were, the elder gopis in the meantime were completely shocked and in disarray, but still they had to control Yashoda Maya. So they said that if we don't control Yashoda Maya, Yashoda Maya is ready to jump into the Yashoda and this Yamuna river and kill herself. Because what's the value? That life is void for the Brajavasis without the presence of Krishna. So they stopped her, and then Balaram was the only person who actually knows what is going on. So he was trying to talk people into not jumping into the Yamuna. Some of them, he was physically holding them and says, don't worry, don't jump into the Yamuna and give up your life. There's a life after Krishna also. Let's move on. None of these things were ever convincing, because for them, life without Krishna is a big seal, right? So, like an ordinary mortal, the Lord is in toils held by Kaliya, and he is enjoying himself. He is always a self-satisfied person. But when he saw the devotees on the banks of the river Yamuna in such great distress, he said, now it's time for action. Yeah? So what did Krishna do? Krishna started expanding himself. And the expanse of Krishna itself was so painful for Kaliya. Kaliya had no other option but to release Krishna from his clutches. And he was very close to Krishna, and each of those nostrils of Kaliya were looking like vessels for cooking poison. We do prasada. So every nostril was looking like a vessel for cooking poison. That's how terrible the nostril of Kaliya looked. And then the eyes were literally emitting fire from Kaliya's eyes. And then Lord Krishna was very playfully circling him for a while. And Kaliya was not able to hide him. They were kind of playing around, and Kaliya was wondering, why the hell I just defeat any enemy, but I am not able to catch hold of this little boy. And he was quickly circling Kaliya very skillfully, and Kaliya's strength suddenly depleted. Then that was the time for the final action and the final blow. Krishna mounted on the hooves of Kaliya, and then grabbed Kaliya's head one by one and making the head go down. Yeah? That's the purpose of human life. Yeah? We don't need to learn that in such a painful manner, right? Prabhupada is so kind. If you want to take shelter of the Lord, don't need for your head to be pushed down. Just stand sincerely to the Nana Viswanijena, Navaro Viswanijena, Amalina Madena, Kirtaniya, Sada Hari. So in a humble way, just chant Krishna's name, and your head will automatically, painlessly, move downwards and head down to the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So, but here Krishna had to grab each food and push it down. One head. How many heads did Kaliya have? Any answers? Okay, Kaliya had 1,000 heads, but 101 of them were very prominent heads. So 100 were subdued and they were completely going down. But one mischievous head was there, and Krishna gave a real nice tight slap to that hood, and that hood of Kaliya also, got subdued and it was going down. So we find so many situations here and try to satisfy our material desires. But as I said, that gives you the final goal, right? So, Prithvi Sarva Harascha, this is what the Bhagavad Gita teaches us. So, the servants of Krishna, enthusiastically, they go down to Krishna, whereas the others have to be pushed to be made to come to the shelter of Sri Krishna's personality of God. Here, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur in the book of Krishna Prabhupada talks about how Lord Krishna's lotus feet was red like copper. They were in contact with the numerous hand jewels on the head of Kaliya. Kaliya had a lot of ornaments on his roots. We get enamored. We go to Dubai and you see the water fountain and the multi-colors that come out from the fountain. We get very enamored by all these creations in material nature. But just imagine this sight. Krishna wearing a yellow silk garment, and there was a free light and water show happening in front of the Yamuna, right? Isn't that something wonderful? Do we all want to see that? And associate with Krishna like this? So this was going on for some time. The dejected Brajavasi community were suddenly in ecstasy, seeing this wonderful water and light show on the roots of Kaliya, right? And then he had like very glowing reddish feet. And Krishna's dancing was not something ordinary. It was like artistic dancing, the best dance, light and body show ever on the universe of this in this planet. So this demonstration of dancing, he was doing for the pleasure of the gopis of Vrindavan. When this was seen, who comes into all the residents of the heavenly planets, the Gandharvas, the Devatas, everybody came. All the expert musicians from the heavenly planet came and immediately started singing in Kirtan. I wonder what they would sing, but we sang here, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Kaliya's Anantas, listening to this wonderful dance performance by Krishna and the glorification by the heavenly planets and the residents of the heavenly planets, started giving out all his anantas one by one. First he started from his eyes, all the poison was getting removed, all the poisonous waste which was there, accumulated over years and years, he started exuding from his eyes. Then he started vomiting blood. Yeah? So all the anantas were getting released by the association with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Yeah? And suddenly time had come for Kaliya to take refuge and shelter of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Then it was time. The wives were at the crossroads. I don't know how many thousands of wives he had. Must have had at least 1,001 wives, maybe or even more, I don't know. I have to go through the Shastra for that. Maybe one wife for each group. That's what he would have had. So 1,000 and 1,000 wives. They were at the crossroads. They were thinking that we have been advising our husband. They could all see the devotees of Krishna by the way, the wives of Kali. So we have been advising our husband for so many years to follow certain ethical principles, but he would never follow what we say. Make it thirsty for us is to let him get killed so that we can do our worship in the mood of Ahayati Bhava. What is the advice for us from the Srimad Bhagavatam? Savai Pumsa Parvodharmo Yatho Bhaktir Pradosate Ahayati Apratiyada Yayatma Suprasiyati. These are all the early instructions from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai Pumsa Parvodharmo. Pumsa means human beings. What is the Parvodharmo? What is the topmost duty of a human being? It is Savai Pumsa Parvodharmo. Yatho Bhaktir Adosate. To do bhakti, that supreme transcendental person, Sri Krishna, that's our prime duty. And what kind of bhakti? Ahayati Apratiyada. There is absolutely no expectation of return. It's not a business, I give you this, you give that. No. It has to be Ahayati bhakti. And then Apratiyada, which is unbroken. 24/7 we are doing it. We can do that even when we are doing our household chores, when we go to our offices, we can still be Krishna consciousness. Yeah, only if we come to this point, Ahayati Apratiyada bhakti, then what's the last line? Ahayati Apratiyada Yayatma Suprasiyati. The Atma will be supremely satisfied only when we reach the point of Ahayati and Apratiyada. So they thought maybe it's better for them to get killed. But then they were devotees of the Lord. Who are devotees of the Lord are very merciful, right? They want to uplift everyone in society. Yeah? So they saw that Kali was manifesting various symptoms of humility, remorse. Yeah, all these things were never there before. He was manifesting all these nice virtues of humility, remorse, and he was also having regret in his heart. And then the wives think, well, now our husband has become a Vaishnava or devotee of God. So they decided to make a joint petition to the Supreme Personality of God. And they went with very careful eyes. The magic of the tears of a woman is very difficult to understand. They get anything done by crying. As we see from this beautiful pastime, even Krishna could not understand how to sort out anything. He had to agree to what the wives of his servants said. So they went to make a joint petition on the serious throne. And these are very, very important philosophical points. They went and told Krishna, look, your punishment is very just. Because you are going to be fulfilling the purpose of your incarnation. But you are also, you have told in the Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu. You don't discriminate between good and bad. You are equal to all. Samoham. You are Samoham. Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. We agree that our husband is being very sinful, and your anger against it, we take it as your mercy on our husband. But punishment is meant for purification. We understand that. And we know that our husband has been very, very envious. So now, we should consider once again whether we are doing it right or wrong. The problem here is that most of us, we have this understanding, we have remorse, we have regret, and we again get back to the bad ways, right? Here is a case where they made a petition saying that husband is transformed. We can make out from seeing him that he is completely transformed. And if he has brought your association for about 3 hours, I think he is spending 3 hours inside water before coming out and then dancing on his boot, add all that 4 hours of continuous association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's a lot of association. He couldn't have got that kind of association without having performed many austerities in his previous life. And I'm sure that he would have been free of pride and he would have performed his religious duties very nicely. And otherwise he couldn't have got in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here Kali got your association, which is testimony to the fact that he has done a lot of austerities and religious duties properly performed in his previous lifetime. And to top it all, yogis, dharmis, and all these people for thousands of years they have meditated to get the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here, our husband Kalia was touched by the lotus feet on every head of his has been touched by the lotus feet of yourself, and people hanker for thousands of lifetimes to get this good fortune, and here you are dancing on all the grooves of our husband. So this is a serious matter. And one of the appeals will just read that verse. I hope they have about 10 minutes more time. Alright? We start with Krishna Katha should go on 24 hours. All night. Krishna Katha solves all the problems, no hunger. Parishant knowledge fasted for 7 long days without food, without water. Yeah. We'll just read this verse and speak for our 5 minutes. Namastutyam bhagavate purushaya mahatmane bhuta vasaya bhutaya varaya paramatmane. Translation of this prayer by Kaliya's wives. We offer our obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of God, although present in the hearts of all living beings as the Super Soul. You are all pervasive. You exist prior to this creation, and although you are the cause and although you are the cause of everything, you are transcendental to material cause and effect, being the Supreme Soul. This is one of the prayers of the wives of Kannamangala. So then they make a final appeal. They said the master should tolerate all the offenses. The Lord's Leelas, the wives say, are like Amoga Leela. What's the meaning of Amoga Leela? It is beyond any discrepancies. You cannot question that this Leela is right or that is right. It is beyond discrepancies. This is the perspective of the devotees. Yeah? Skeptics sometimes do not understand due to their forgetful and inimical nature. The fortunate ones understand and accept that this is the Amoga Leela and they go back home, back to God. So, it says that the master should tolerate an offense committed by a child or a subject. Please give our husband back to us, who is our life and soul. We enclose our plea, now tell us, we are your maid servants, and we are waiting for your instructions. What will you give us is right. So the surrender of the wives of Kaliya with this is pretty much complete. And then Lord Krishna also realizes the point, and he released Kaliya. He was still unconscious, and so he came back to life. It was a very, very painful condition. And before that there was some, prayers of Kaliya. So Lord Kaliya was in a painful condition. naturally envious, ignorant, and angry. It's not our fault, it's the birth of the body that we have given us. Of course, the body itself came because of the past struggle, but then he made an appeal to the Lord in this way. It's so difficult to give up this condition Kaliya says. That's what we all have to remember. We are all conditioned. Many times as practicing devotees, we feel that we are beyond this condition. Maya will catch us if we are not humbling for a moment. Right? Say, I'm chanting 16, not all these people are practice, materialists, The moment you think in that way that I am one upon you, Maya will immediately capture. And he acknowledges Krishna, you are the supreme personality of Godhead, and Kaliya then begged for the mercy of the Lord, and then he leaves it to the Lord again. The surrender is complete. He says, Lord, you don't decide what is best for me. So the Lord gives his verdict. So the twofold verdict that the Lord gives, he says, leave Vrindavan and go to the ocean now. Okay? And then I'll sort out your other problem also. To leave Vrindavan, I will also tell who? Garuda. Yeah, I will tell Garuda that he should not come near you. Yeah? So both these blessings he gives, and he blesses them. Kaliya, along with all his, both of them, they give further prayer with lots of joy and reverence and leave Vrindavan. Not only that, before leaving, as part of the prayers, the servants of Vrindavan, along with their wives, relatives, everybody, they gave them fantastic gifts as well. They offered them fine garments, they offered Krishna necklaces, jewels, ornaments, scents, ointments, perfumes. Many times they don't devote the readers perfumes. I've seen the songs of Iskcon. There's a fantastic Kirtan, everybody is drenched with sweat. They go into the crowd. Go into the crowd and start spraying perfumes. I perfume allowed. As you know, this comes from the deep realization that medical body stinks. So that is Kirtan for you. So they offered them ointment, scents, and perfumes as well. Kaliya was finally satisfied and goes back to the island. And it is said that Kaliya went in the direction of Fiji Islands. That's where he resides now. And in Fiji Islands, the temple is called the Krishna Katha. Fiji Islands, Iskcon. And then the pastor will swim over, just a small addition and we close. Okay? After this is over, the devotees again, they don't think that Krishna was all powerful and he killed he finished off Kaliya to go him out. Those things were not important for them. They are concerned about the welfare of Krishna. And as concerned citizens for the welfare of their Lord, of their hearts, what do they do? They say, Krishna, come, you have spent so many hours, it's winter time, and you have had water for some so many hours. We are concerned for you. And then there is a temple of Sanatana Goswami, which is the Mother Mohan temple, which is sort of fine terrace. You go to the ground, please see that. In that terrace, so you come here and live, rest for yourself for a while, warm yourself up. Suryadev did not lose the opportunity to see, serve Krishna at that time. That place is called Aditya Dwadashatila. Aditya Dwadashatila. The sun said Krishna is being very cold. He expanded into 12 suns to give warmth to Krishna. So the whole goal of life, give up our envious nature, read the Bhagavad Gita pastimes, and We don't have to go all through the pain what Kaliya went through. Instead of having Kaliya snapping her, Krishna snapping her head down, forcing us to go down the hill, get Krishna to dance something down. How will you do that? By chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Well, I think I got pretty overwhelmed and I crossed the line limit. There are any questions and there is time to ask. My humble request to all of you, please participate in the Janmashtami and surrender to the lotus feet of the local leader here. This is Achyuta and all the wonderful devotees who helped in organizing this event, work with the spirit of cooperation, and make this Janmashtami at the KM Royal Center with 100% success, and the result of the success, receive the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, and pursue this process of Krishna consciousness eternally. So that is my request to all. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Oh yeah, one of the requests that we should thank the complete chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and we have targeted you also by her, that we should memorize the complete chapter. Before we have to memorize this chapter completely, before the Janmashtami, where we will chant the complete chapter together. The complete chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called Purushottam Yoga, or perfect yogi, the supreme yogi. So Krishna had finished all his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita on bhakti. So the question then arises, if bhakti is the root, what's the position of the Vedas? Right? So in this chapter, the goal of the Vedas is very clearly defined. Right? So that's the purpose of this chapter. And the interesting part is that this is the shortest chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, easy to memorize, has got only 20 verses, and in this entire chapter, if you just accept one verse of this chapter and make it part of your life will be successful, which is 15. Sarvasya Chapo Redi Santavisho Mataha Smriti Jnana Amohacha Vedeshta Sarvai Ahameva Vidyo Vedanta Krit Vedavid Eva Chana. So that's the 15th sloka. Krishna makes a very punchline statement, which is he is Vedanta Krit and he is Vedavid, and Vedeshta Sarvai Aham Eva Vidyo. The purpose of the Vedas, all the Vedas, Aham Eva Vidyo. I am to be understood in the Vedas. Krishna makes this punchy statement. So let's now chant